So good day everyone. We are group number 3 and today we'll be presenting our research titled DNA-based detection of bacteria from pond water using QIAGEN DNA extraction and PCR amplification. This study focuses on using molecular biotechnology methods, especially DNA extraction and PCR amplification to detect and identify bacterial DNA present in pond water samples. Next. Before we begin, allow us to introduce the member of our groups. Bran Chavez, Jamila Layesa, Maria Kisha Munoz, Risha Peñaflor, Kim Guion Remo, and Shaina Ramos. Next. Now that we've introduced our team, let's move on to the overview of our study. Before proceeding to the formal introduction of our paper, here is the summary of our research. Our study will explore the detection of bacterial DNA from pond water using advanced molecular techniques such as DNA extraction with the QIAGEN kit and PCR amplification of the 16S ribosomal RNA gene. These methods will offer a faster, more precise, and more reliable way to detect bacteria compared to traditional culture-based techniques. And with that brief summary, we will now proceed to the introduction of our study.
For the introduction, as shown here, pond water actually has a lot of microorganisms like bacteria, algae, and protozoa. These bacteria are really important because they help in breaking down waste, cycling nutrients, and keeping the balance in aquatic environments. But when the water gets contaminated, like from sewage or agricultural waste, some bacteria can become harmful and affect both humans and the environment. That's why monitoring them is really important to make sure the water stays safe. Before, people mostly used traditional methods like culture-based testing to detect bacteria, but those methods are usually slow and can detect all kinds of bacteria. Next slide. Now, molecular techniques like PCR are used because they are faster and more accurate. Using tools like the QIAGEN DNA extraction kit also helps make sure the DNA we get is high quality for testing. So connecting that to our study, pond water will be a complex and dynamic ecosystem that will contain a wide variety of microorganisms such as bacteria, algae, and protozoa. These bacteria will play important roles in nutrient cycling, organic matter decomposition, and maintaining the ecological balance of aquatic environments. They will help break down waste and recycle nutrients that will support the growth of other organisms. However, when ponds become contaminated from agricultural runoff, sewage, or industrial waste, harmful bacteria will multiply and pose serious threats to both human health and the environment. Therefore, identifying and monitoring these bacterial populations will be necessary for assessing water quality and protecting the ecosystem. Traditional bacterial detection methods, such as culture-based techniques, will be widely used to study microorganisms in water. While these methods will identify some bacterial species, they will often be time-consuming, labor-intensive, and limited to detecting only bacteria that can grow under specific laboratory conditions. Many bacteria found in natural environments will be non-culturable, meaning they cannot be detected through the traditional methods. Because of these limitations, molecular-based approaches will become more common since they will identify a wider range of bacterial species more quickly and accurately, providing a clear understanding of microbial communities and aquatic systems.
In addition, previous studies show PCR-based detection provides higher sensitivity in identifying bacteria. Molecular methods reveal greater microbial diversity than culturing, and this study establishes a reliable approach for environmental microbiology research. Previous studies have shown that PCR-based detection is more sensitive and reliable for identifying bacteria than the traditional culture-based methods. PCR can detect bacterial DNA directly from environmental samples, even when the bacteria cannot be grown in laboratory conditions. This allows molecular detection to reveal a wider range of bacterial species that would otherwise be missed using conventional techniques. Molecular approaches have also found to show greater microbial diversity in aquatic environments compared to the culture-based methods. Since PCR targets bacterial DNA, it can detect both living and non-cultural bacteria, providing a more accurate and comprehensive picture of microbial communities in water systems. Overall, these findings confirm that PCR-based detection is an effective and precise method for studying environmental bacteria. Next slide. Building on the previous studies we discussed, our research focuses on detecting bacterial DNA from pond water using molecular biology techniques. Specifically, our study aims to answer the question, how can DNA extraction and PCR amplification can be used to detect and identify bacterial DNA present in pond water samples? To address this question, our first objective is to extract high-quality bacterial DNA from pond water using the QIAGEN DNA extraction kit. This step isolates and purifies the genetic material from bacteria collected in the samples. Our second objective is to amplify the 16S rRNA gene using PCR with Vivantis reagents. The 16S rRNA gene is a well-known molecular marker that allows identification of bacterial species because it contains conserved regions shared by all bacteria and variable regions that distinguish one species from another. And lastly, our third objective is to assess the efficiency of molecular techniques in detecting bacterial DNA from environmental samples. Through this process, we aim to demonstrate that molecular approaches, particularly the DNA extraction and PCR, provides faster and more accurate results compared to those conventional culture-based methods.
For the methodology, it will be divided into two, which is sample collection and DNA extraction. Next slide. For the sample collection, pond water samples will be collected from DNA extraction using sterile 500 ml bottles from predetermined sampling sites around the pond. To minimize contamination, each bottle will be rinsed 3 times with pond water prior to the final collection. Approximately 250 to 300 ml of water will be gathered from each site to obtain a representative sample of each pond's microbial community. Each sample bottle will be properly labeled with the corresponding site code, date, time, and time of collection. Immediately after collection, the samples will be placed in a cooler with ice packs to maintain a temperature of approximately 4 degrees Celsius during transport to the laboratory, thereby preventing microbial growth and DNA degradation. Upon arrival at the laboratory, each pond sample will be subjected to vacuum filtration using sterile membrane filters with a pore size of 0.222 to 0.45 micro. A volume of 100 to 200 ml of water per sample will be filtered depending on the turbidity of the sample. After filtration, the membrane filters containing the trapped microbial cells will be carefully removed using sterile forceps and transferred into sterile 2 ml microcentrifuge tubes. The tubes will be properly labeled to secure accurate sample tracking. Filter samples will then be stored at 4 degrees Celsius if processed within 24 hours or negative 20 degrees Celsius for longer storage until DNA extraction. Next slide.
Moving on to the DNA extraction method. First, the DNA extraction will be done using the QIAGEN DNA extraction kit. First, 20 microliters of proteinase K and 200 microliters of buffer AL will be added to each pond water sample. The mixture will be shaken well and then centrifuged for 1 minute at 3000 RPM. Next, after that, the samples will be incubated at 56 degrees Celsius for 10 minutes. Next, 200 microliters of absolute ethanol will be added and mixed to help the DNA bind. The mixture will then be transferred to spin columns and centrifuged for 1 minute at 8,000 RPM. Then the flow-through will be discarded. After that, 500 microliters of buffer AW1 will be added for the first wash. And then it will be centrifuged for 1 minute and 8,000 RPM, and the flow-through will be discarded again. For the second wash, 500 microliters of buffer AW2 will be added and centrifuged again for 1 minute at 8,000 RPM. Finally, the spin column will be moved to a new microcentrifuge tube, and 200 microliters of nuclease-free water will be added to elute the DNA, replacing buffer AE. After centrifuging again, the spin column will be discarded and the purified DNA will be labeled and stored properly. For the next two parts of the methodology, it will be presented by Remo.
Before we conduct our PCR program, the preparation of a master mix is a must. Master mix is a must, where we will be needing a 2 times stock master mix under a 25 microliters, a magnesium chloride of having zero point 0.5 microliters, a 1 microliters of both F and R primer, a 21.5 microliters of water. And we are going, and it is mixed under a PCR tube using a vortex mixer. And before adding the DNA template, it is required to vortex mix the samples or the reagents to make sure that everything is well combined to make sure that the DNA will be will act accordingly on our PCR. And after we mix our 1 microliter of a DNA template, it is spun down on a centrifuge for under 1 minute to make sure that every reagent is below and there are no bubbles present on the PCR tube. After we after we use the centrifuge on the uh, sample, we are going to proceed now for the PCR program. Next. In this PCR or a thermal cycler program, we have a 6 different stages, including the initial denaturation, the denaturation, annealing, extension, the final extension, and a hold. The PCR runs for under 2 hours, and for the first 4 minutes, we have the initial denaturation having a 95 degrees temperature. It is to make sure that our reagents or our DNA are highly temperatured before we reach our denaturation process for under 40 seconds, which is the first step for our three key steps on our PCR program. And then after the 40 seconds of our 95 degrees for denaturation, it is said that TAC polymerase are the TAC polymerase are now fully activated and is ready for annealing stage on a lowering the temperature for 53 degrees Celsius under a 40 seconds. And it is to make sure that the primers are bound into the complementary sequence on the DNA template. And then next process is the extension or the elongation, which the temperatures goes highest for 70 degrees Celsius for 40 seconds. And it is to make sure that the polymerase synthesize the complementary DNA strands from the primer. And last two is the final extension that runs for 4 minutes under a 72 degrees Celsius. That the purpose of this final extension is to ensure any remaining single-stranded DNA is fully extended into double-stranded DNA before the reaction finishes. And the last stage is the hold, which we don't have a duration time for it, but it runs on a 10 degree Celsius. And the purpose of this hold stage is to ensure that the Taq polymerase and the other enzymes are remained inactive and to ensure that there are no further DNA amplifications that might occur. And for this whole stage, if it is done initially, it runs for a one cycle. But on a 50 microliters of our samples, we need to run it for 25 to 40 cycles. And the accumulations of the PCR program having a 2 hours of process. In a one cycle, it is said that there are two copies of DNA. So if it continues to 25 to 40 cycles, the DNA product are ready now for the analysis on the next stage. Next. Next.
So that concludes our presentation on detection and identification of bacterial DNA in pond water using DNA extraction on polymerase chain reaction or PCR. That's all and thank you, sir.